Hey, Rich.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Hey,
Hey,
Danelle,
Hey, Rich, how are you?
Very
Danelle,
well.
Jackie, could you resend Scott the link?
Let
He's trying to get
me
on.
down. Sure thing. Hold on.
Thanks.
Yep.
Got my Dick Tracy watch on here. You got most of you are too young to remember that.
The
You
transponder
know,
watch.
Tracy?
Right?
Two-way
Laptop and all that in the
communicator.
watch.
Yeah, you remember?
Oh yeah, two-way.
I
I just remember the movie.
I used to watch that cartoon.
You're the squarest jaw known to man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a right angle.
Yeah, you guys are old. I don't remember any of that.
You're showing your age.
Before Paul's time.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
Paul,
remember that.
When Paul was a kid, they didn't even have TV.
No, when I was a kid, I was the remote control. I know that. Get up and change the channel.
It was still black and white.
Yeah.
2,
Well,
4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13.
Yeah, I remember having a black and white TV.
Sure.
We have to go to a neighbor's house to watch The Wizard of Oz because they had color TV. We didn't. You know, when it changed over.
I would change the channel when I got the shoe thrown at the back of my head. Harry's like, he's smug. He's like, that probably did happen.
Oh, yeah, I am. I'm thinking about that. You know, one of the first TVs ever in Hawthorne was that shortwaves. Grandfather bought it to get everybody into place.
And that's why we went.
Then he replaced that with Go-Go Girls.
You know, my dad would tell me stories before they had TV. They would go to the appliance store and watch the fights on Friday night after the place closed. Friday night Gillette. Friday night at the fights in Gillette.
There we go.
All right, we got Scott on.
We got 2 Howies. Oh, no, Howard and Howie.
I saw Howie. He was there, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get started. Scott, you're on, right?
Hi, Scott.
Yes. Hi, good evening. Sorry.
That's all right. All right, welcome everybody. This is the Vernon Township MUA meeting for September 2nd, 2021. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this regular meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 20th, 2021 by delivering to the press such notice and posting the same at the municipal building and file with the office of the township clerk. Everyone rise for the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the
Flag.
flag.
to the flag
United
of
States
the
of
United
America.
States of America,
And to the
Republic.
republic
to the republic
for which it
Thanks.
stands,
which stands
One
one
nation.
nation,
one nation,
under
under
God,
Indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and
Liberty.
justice.
liberty,
Justice for
and
all.
justice for all. All right, roll call for members and professionals.
Mike Fury,
I'm here.
Paul Carney,
Present.
Dave McDermott,
Here.
Harry Shortway,
Present.
Scott Galway,
Here.
okay, Kristen Wheaton and Andy Pitsker are absent. For professionals, we have Don Albright, administrator, Howie Leisure, licensed operator, Which Renner, the attorney, and Jacqueline McCabe, the recording secretary.
Okay, thank you. Number 5, go ahead and hear a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Make a motion, open the meeting to the public.
I'll second it.
Motion by Harry Shortway, seconded by Paul Carney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Is there anybody from the public, Jackie?
I don't have anyone from the public, and I did not receive any correspondence to read into the record.
I hear a motion to close to the public.
Make a
I'll
motion
make
to
a
close
motion.
to the public. I'll second it. Paul's got it.
Paul Carney, motion, seconded by Harry Shortway. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? I don't hear any opposition. I'll move on to number 6, approval of the August 5th, 2021 minutes. Everybody have a chance to read those over? Any questions, concerns? I see the dog agrees.
Yeah, I know. There's gonna be, we're gonna have to go silent in a minute.
Mhm.
They're chewing on
No,
each other.
That's quite okay. Anybody had any questions about the minutes? They are detailed. Did I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from, I'm sorry, what's the date? August
Fifth.
7th, 2021. Want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 5th, 2021.
Do I hear a second?
Second that motion.
So motion made by Harry Shortway, seconded by Dave McDermott. Take a roll call.
Okay, Mike Fury,
Yes?
Paul Carney.
Oh, Paul can't
I
vote.
can't vote.
Oh, Paul wasn't
Yeah.
there, sorry.
Mhm.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Harry Shortway,
Yes.
Scott Galway.
Yes.
Okay, minutes approved. On to number 7, resolution 21-45. This is adopting and directing the implementation of the asset management plan. So the asset management plan's been completed. This is the final step, right? Danelle, correct me if I'm wrong, and we have to approve this asset management plan to complete the funding process and then move to the next step of getting the funding for the pump station.
Correct, yes. So this will be completed as part of my report, but I can tell you now, we already received over $51,000 actually today from iBank for the first part of the billings that I had submitted to them. So that's good. And then once this goes through, I'll send the final billings next week for the final requisition from them. And then that meets our requirement to have it finished by the 18th.
So does everybody understand? We have to approve this asset management plan, finalize it, put it behind, put it behind us, and that's going to be used for the funding for the pump station too, and then any other projects we're going to do. I mean, Danelle, the question the funding for the pump station, that's one thing, but if we did any additional funding for water infrastructure,
Mhm.
do we use this asset management plan for the same reason?
Okay, so the asset management plan, the way that it's tied to pump station 2, is that it's not that our funding for pump station 2 is contingent on the asset management plan. We could go, if we didn't have the asset management plan, we could still go to iBank. The asset management plan, though, we applied for them for funding for that to do the asset management plan, and they will forgive that loan, that $105,000. They'll forgive that, provided that we do funding through them for pump station 2. So it's just like,
Okay.
it encourages us to do that funding with them because we'll basically get like $105,000 for free.
I got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions about this?
Mike, can I
Resolution
make a
21?
comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would just like to add, this has been a 6-year process. Former MUA just never got it done. And this group of commissioners and professionals, you finally got it done in the last 2 years. And it's greatly appreciated. And we always knew we need an asset management plan, because how else do you operate and maintain and look at future costs? So I think this is an excellent move on the MUA's part. And I really would like to thank all your hard work from the commissioners, the voting commissioners, and our professionals for getting this done. So I think it's worthy of our passing this resolution.
Yeah, I agree, Harry. This is a long time coming. It's important to have an asset management plan. You really can't do anything without it. It is a credit to this current MUA that we did get it done and completed it. It was quite an effort. I really got to thank everybody, Howie, Danelle, all the professionals. They did a good job. They got it done. We just need to approve it and move it forward. So if anybody has any other questions or concerns, or just if I can entertain a motion to pass resolution 21-45, adopting and directing implementation of the asset management plan.
I'd like to make that motion to adopt the asset management plan as put forth.
I'll second that motion.
So motion made by Harry Shortway, seconded by Dave McDermott. Roll call.
Mike Fury,
Yes.
Paul Carney,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Harry Shortway,
Yes.
and Scott Galway.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 21-46, shared service agreement for administrative duties. Danelle, you wanna just give
Yeah.
us some background? There's a lot of information about this, and I think I'm just gonna turn it over to you.
Yeah, I was actually going to hold this so we can have discussions about the contract regarding contract negotiations in executive session right at the end of this public meeting. And then if the board wants to, they can adopt 2146 after we have some discussion. So we can, really discuss it in depth. But it is contract negotiations, so it's covered under executive session.
So we'll just move that to the executive session, and we're just gonna table that for then. We'll go right to number 8 then, administrator's update. Danelle?
So Pump Station 2, James did reach out to the DEP regarding some specifics for the environmental planning document, so that we don't end up sending them information that might not be all the information they're requesting. So he did request a sample of what has been provided to them in the past so that we provide them exactly what they need. We also got an updated timeline from Steve today that I sent to everybody regarding Pump Station 2 and where we're landing, probably project completion early next fall, which is good. The force main evaluation, obviously, I had already said regarding the asset management plan, we already got $51,000 in for reimbursements from iBank, and I will be able to complete the second and final funding request next week. The sewer service area mapping, town center, was approved at the council meeting, so I believe it's moving on to the land use board meeting. I think this meeting this month. So that's moving along well. Obviously, that affects our sewer service area. So once that's completed, we will revisit that. And I've been working with James on that. We did provide the updated capital sheet, so if anybody has any questions about that, we can address those. But things are moving along. We just ordered the panels for the lift stations, so that's good. Ray will be working on that. Water infrastructure, we did have our capital ordinance approved at the last council meeting, so that's a positive thing. We're almost, well, not quite. We're not quite at the 20-day estoppel period yet, but once we have that estoppel period, we can start charging to that as far as like engineering fees and really planning out what this is going to look like. James has been working on the agreement also with Suez, and we'll have a draft soon to review. He and I have a call tomorrow to finalize that. And just wanted to update you guys as well on Snowshoe and Alpine. That application, the attorney that came before the board and the engineer, they still have not submitted any updates to Steve since that meeting. We did have a meeting with the attorneys on the township side and here, obviously the MUA. So, they really need to get their application completed. In order to do that, they need to have an agreement with the township, and they have not reached out to the township. I have notified them. Steve has notified them. We've discussed it with them. So Steve did reach out to them again today to kind of find out where they are and what they're going to do, since they do have those outstanding items and they can't really move forward without addressing any of those issues. And that's pretty much it. And just to let you know too, the township attorney had even said, I don't understand why, like, they know what they're supposed to do. And he's just confused why they haven't approached the township yet on an agreement on what needs to be done. So just wanted to update you specifically on that application.
Hey, Danelle, I have
That's
a
it.
question about,
Yeah.
the town center designation. And I wanted to ask this question during the town council meeting, but I couldn't get on.
Mhm.
Does that mean if we have that town center designation, that the sewer service area that we're looking to get approved automatically gets approved, or we still have to go through a process of an approval with the DEP?
Okay, so right now, without the town center approval, we have gone through this whole long process of going through by every single property, every single block and lot individually, where they're carving out sections that we've already been approved for. And now they're saying that those sections of specific lots or whole lots cannot be in the sewer service area. That's per their regulations. Now, just above those regulations, it states that they can do that because we don't have that town center designation. Before that, in the regulation, it says if you do have a town center designation and you are in conformance with the Highlands Regional Master Plan, which we will be after this town center designation, that basically everything that's in the town center becomes sewer service area. I think it's pretty clear in their regulations. I've discussed it with our engineers. I think it's pretty clear. I think that we have some solid ground to stand on about that. So basically any of the areas they would be trying to take out, I do not believe they will be able to, because we're in compliance with the Highlands Regional Master Plan. As far as areas that are outside of the town center designation, so that would be areas out just past McAfee, where we were looking to expand, we will need their approvals on those. We'll also need an approval. There were a couple of small areas that are also, again, not part of town center that we would need approval for those. But I would like to address those after we have the town center designation, because all the individual small blocks, small lots, I don't want to argue anymore with them about it, because it's kind of like a moot point at that point.
Okay, that makes sense.
I hope that was clear. Yeah.
Yeah, so wait the process out, and then once it's finalized, then we'll reevaluate.
Right.
And any questions for Danelle?
How long after you get that town center designation before you can start work to open up the roads or do what you need to do?
Oh, okay, so for expanding into those areas, I mean, that's a matter of doing all of the actual engineering and the planning and the development if we're going to really expand into certain areas. I did have the engineer put together, I think I sent it around to the board, some very rough estimates of specific key areas that we were looking to expand into. So a perfect example is there's no pipe that runs on 94. There's no sewer lines on 94. So there's that whole other area, the whole other side of Route 94 that has no connections that we can't connect to. There's the whole area behind Dairy Queen that, right now there's nothing to be able to connect. There's no main in the road to be able to connect to and expand up in there. I had the engineer go through and kind of put together those rough estimates for those specific areas and other areas that were in expanded locations. And, we can kind of decide from there, like a cost benefit ratio, which I've been working on that, just based on what we think connection fees could be, what we would see as far as rates then, if we add additional EDUs, how many EDUs we could possibly get based on the type of zoning and structures that are currently existing there. So that's kind of a little bit of a longer process. As far as the water goes, that's separate. We're already kind of working on that, but any sewer expansion, I think, needs a little bit more detail and more information before we really decide on something like that.
And it'll be quite expensive.
Yes.
So any other questions? Anybody from the board have any questions for Danelle before we move on?
The moment, no.
All right, thanks, Danelle. Going on to number 9, license operator update, Howie.
Yep. Hello.
How you
How's
doing?
everybody doing?
How you doing, Howie?
Good, Howie.
We'll go down the order. Pump station 1, no problems. The railings are installed at all the stations that we had required them to be, all the safety railings. Pump station 2, all good. Danelle on the rat situation. It's hard to tell right now how bad they actually are, if we have any infestation. According to the guy 2 months ago, it was minimum. The winter time was a little different, easier to see, because they were actually making tunnels in the snow.
Right.
Pump station 3, again, the railings are installed. We tried to install the davits crane hookup this week, but upon digging on the back side of the tank, where Dave, the safety guy, wanted us to put it. We came across a electrical cord. Well, more than electrical cord. It was carrying 600 volts of electricity that we don't know what it's to or where it goes to. So Friday, tomorrow, Jem is supposed to come out and just check to see where it goes. And we might have to find another spot to hook that up if we have one.
That was pump station 3, Howie?
Yeah,
Where is it? On the left side of the pump station? Like looking at it?
no, it was, if you were looking at the two tanks, it would be
Yeah.
right, almost directly in the middle, just slightly off to the center of the two tanks. And it runs all the way across the back.
It was like a electric. Wow. Was that maybe that was that for like the treatment plant? Was that like a treatment system at one time?
Yeah, that's what I thought too, because it's definitely not to the Muffin Monster.
No, but there was maybe going across right to the building where that's where the treatment plant was. Because I think that one time there was a treatment plant there.
Yes, yep. Well, we'll move down to Black Creek Lift Station. With the storm just the other night, we did have a high level call. The boys came in. Upon coming in, didn't help having Black Creek's maintenance guy pumping their pool or backwashing their pool at the time of the heavy rain. So that helped with the alarm. While the boys were in, though, I had them go around and check, make sure everything else was running up and all the water levels were good. And it was. But the only problem that we did have is by sending all that water down at one time, we did back up SCUMA at their plant.
Really?
Yeah, that was one issue we had because it was so much being sent down and how much water was probably coming in from the rain as well.
And so they couldn't keep up. They couldn't keep up with the pumping.
Right.
Does that ever happen?
Not to my knowledge, no. Nope. Not even when we had that severe storm the last time here.
And what do? They notify you, and then that's how you know. Because I mean, obviously, you wouldn't know what's going on in that pump station.
Yes, one of the operators did call me and ask me if we could back off on our pumps at the time, and I said to him that our guys already left. So yes, pumping has stopped, and I told him what the problem we had, and he goes, okay, so that was about the time he got called for a high level in his.
So he didn't have to call a pump truck.
He did have to call a pump truck today.
And so he's pumping that plant out then.
He pumped the bottom out. He had like 2 feet of water in the bottom of that outside tank.
Okay, good.
To where they pump their chemicals on the whole electric system on the chemical side.
Right.
He had a vac truck. He didn't have a pump truck. He had a vac truck there just cleaning it up.
Oh, yeah, vac. Do they have their own vac truck, or do they had to call somebody in from the outside?
I didn't see who was on the side of it when we went by today.
Right. How is he? Is he cooperative, the operator?
I just actually met the head guy today down there. He called after all this was going on. But the guy that was in, yes, he was very cooperative and let me know what was going on. I informed him what was going on. And I even spoke to him today about it.
All right, that's good. Well, that's good to know.
And then Tim Phillips, I guess is the new guy down there that took over for Angelo. He reached out to me as well today, and he would like to just meet up with us and the guys and just talk about and get on the same page with everything that happened with this.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Howie.
Hey,
And
I'm a
then
little
come up with-
confused by this. Okay, I know it's extra rain. We're only pumping about 200,000 gallons a day. We have a minimum allocation of 461,000 gallons a day with a maximum of 645,000 gallons a day. How much additional water was being pumped that they couldn't handle? Do they have the capacity to handle 465,000 gallons a day that this town's paying for? And we're only pumping 200,000? Was it over 265,000 extra thousand gallons we were pumping?
Well, I'm gonna say that it's just like our lift station, our pump station. If the flow is heavy, our pumps can only pump so much. And once you get to the overflow, and then it just backs up. That's why we get high level alarms.
But they should have been able to handle 645,000 gallons if we were pushing that much, because that's what our allocation is. And we're paying for 461,000 gallons a day. I might be off a few thousands there. So they should have no problem handling 461,000 gallons. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
Harry,
was it over 461,000 gallons? That's the question I asked them.
Yeah.
Because we're paying
how much-
for it.
Yeah, hey, Howie, how much were you pumping during the whole event? Well, what was the, do you happen to know that?
No, I did not. I didn't even ask him that. On to that, like I said, he called me about an hour after our guys were in. And he said that, if we could we stop the pumps, because his pumps can't keep up with the flow that we're putting down there right now. And I informed him that our guys were already gone. So the flow that you had was already there and it should be slowing down.
Yeah, so what we need to do, Howie, try to get for the next meeting, just give us an idea how much flow is going down there. Because Harry makes a good point. Why couldn't they handle that flow? That's because it's what, that it could have forced us to bring in trucks to start pumping, and that's not acceptable. I mean, they should be able to handle that pump. It sounds like they had operational issues. They may have had pump problems. I don't know what they're doing down there, because we're not the one operating that pump station. It's SCUMA's operating it. So you have no idea what they're doing or not doing. But Howie, if you couldn't get some flows, I'd be curious to know that by the next meeting, like what kind of flow rates you were sending down there. Because Harry makes a good point. If it's rated for this much flow, then they should be able to handle that flow going down to SCUMA.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying onto that, with the handling our flow. But as I'm saying here, again, could they had a pump problem? Sure. I don't know. He didn't say he had a pump problem. But again, our pumps that we have all over the place, if the flow is just too heavy, the pumps can't keep up with it.
But you've done a great job that we were able to handle the flow. You were able to pump it all down there. So they should be able to receive it unless they had a pump problem or we exceeded our allocation.
Yeah.
I did actually ask him that earlier in the year, but I forget what he told me what our daily flow was, because it was interesting when we were talking about this before. But I will ask him again.
Yeah, I think our daily flow is somewhere near 200. I think we go to 208 on a general average, and there might be some peaks. And Donnell, you say it might be 220, 230 sometimes.
We have had a lot. Our average is around 208, 210, but there are some days that go significantly over that. I'm actually just bringing it up now.
We're nowhere clear to 461,000, I think it is. So they should be able to accept 461,000 gallons at any time from us, unless they have a pump problem. And we know there was exceptional rainfall. But I think, Howie, you've done a great job. If our pumps that are, our whole system's pretty old, we were able to handle it. And their system's a lot newer, and we're paying for it.
Yeah, our peak one, our maximum, I think that we've gone up to is around 300, 310. But I mean, that could be during, significant storms and stuff like that. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to handle it.
No, he just sent me a text. He said it's usually around 260. Okay, so moving on from that.
Thanks, Howie. Appreciate it.
Yes. We had a call just last week from Gunstock, Unit 2, Building 7, or Unit 2, Building 7 and 9, small backup into the condo. Jimmy and Matt came in. They had to snake outside to clean out about 10 feet. Down, clogged it. She did have, it wasn't a flood, it was just a backup into the tub.
Yeah, we're gonna contact her.
That was it. So that's all I have. Onto that.
Great.
Well, onto that. I just have one other question for Mike.
Yeah, I'm back on.
Oh, so when Chris comes around and he takes all these pictures and photos, and then he calls you, and I'm just going to use the example as pump station 1, the gate was unlocked. It was unlocked because the guys were off, and I had to go over there and unlock it for Weber to get in to do the railings. That's why that was unlocked. And as you can see in the pictures, they're now with the chain link and the bars all around it. So we had to dummy lock it because I couldn't get off the job on Barrett Road to go in and hand-to-hand deliver them. That was that picture why the gate was unlocked.
Can we have Chris call Howie if something like that happens again? I mean, because obviously if it's like emergent too. I mean, if let's say this wasn't going on, it wasn't fencing being done. I think it's important that he like contact Howie right away, or me, or just someone so that somebody can go out there.
Just because we're talking about locks right now, does the police department, sorry, does the police department have keys to all our pump houses in case there's an emergency? Do they have access to all of our facilities?
I don't know if they have keys. I've never made them keys. I think that I assumed that they did, but I will send the chief an email right now, just to be sure.
They're in under the former director, and that was a sore spot with me because God forbid there is an emergency and the police have to get in there and nobody else can be reached. They should have access to every asset that the township owns.
That's standard. I mean, that's every town. The keys are matched. The fire department and police, they usually have. I mean, that has to be. There's like no reason for them not to have it. So if they don't, we definitely
never
gotta take
used
care of it.
to. But I just wanted to follow up on that. I mean, they're there 24/7.
I'm gonna email the chief. And then I will let you guys know.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. I think Mike is trying to get back on. I think Howie, I will email Chris just to make sure he has your number, in case something like that comes up where he gets there and there's something, wrong or something doesn't look right, that he lets you know right away. Because I mean, Mike could be out on a project or something, somewhere far away where, he might not be able to get there right away. So I think it's important that he contact you as a LOR.
Yes, I did reach out, Chris.
Okay.
In an email.
Okay. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm on
Okay,
again.
cool. Okay. I think I just told Howie I was going to email Chris and just ask him that if something like that happens, that he contact, he give Howie a call or something, in case you're not around, so that.
I was going to say I didn't get a call from Chris. I haven't spoken to Chris. Howie was starting to say something about what he saw. I did not see him. I did not talk to Chris. What was it in particular, Howie? What was he saw?
At pump station 1, the gate was unlocked.
Yeah, no, he didn't. I don't think he called me. I read his report. I read it briefly, but I didn't. He never called me. So Danelle, tell him to call Howie directly. I don't. He shouldn't be calling me. He should be calling Howie.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Anyone have any questions for Howie?
No, Howie, good
No.
job during the storm, no issues. I can remember thunderstorms used to cause floods and overflows at Pump House too, and I didn't hear of any, and you didn't report, so great job.
Well, maybe that was a sense of phone calling us now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, up to this time.
All right, Howie. Last thing before we move on, just check on the flows and then get some ideas of flow rates during the storm. I think that's something we probably would want to know.
Yeah, like I said, I did text him. I know the guy. I know the kid. Not personally, but we've communicated since I've been on MUA. He's been with SCUMA, and like I said, he did send me. Just like I said, usually 260, around 260. But I will ask him what the flow was yesterday.
Did they meter it? They meter it going into their pump station, right, Howie?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, yeah, get those numbers, and that's something we definitely want to know.
And I just emailed all of you. We get the monthly numbers, but they take numbers every single day for the flows. So I probably won't get. I'm not going to get September's until next month. But at least you can see, because I don't even have August yet. At least you can see everything daily for the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, it's good to see you during this event and see what happened there.
Well, like I said about the pumps, he's got, I guess, apparently some good pumps there. His pumps are 600 gallons per minute, and they were maxed out. They had no issues with the pumps. Both of them were running.
So it's 1,200 gallons a minute?
Yeah.
That's like, and he couldn't keep up?
No.
I'll have to do a quick calculation. All right.
Like I said, if I don't know if you could see it. Put it on here.
Did you just say, you said there's 2 600 gallon per minute pumps?
Yeah, that's the picture he sent me last night at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, when he was leaving, that the water was up a couple steps.
It's got to be 1 600 gallon per minute pump. I calculate that as 864,000 gallons a day. That's a lot. Well, we should get those numbers.
Yeah.
If you can get how you can get that information from him, what pumps he has in his pump station. I think we need to know that. I think I would ask him what he has. 600 sounds like too high, but you may want to confirm that. All right, moving on.
I was reading the text.
All right. Number 10, new business overcharges of SU fees at 2 Score Court, Unit 3. Danelle?
Yeah, so we had a similar situation at the end of last year where we had a unit come in and say, they've been assessed as a 1-bedroom, through the tax assessor for years. And I guess they were working with the former directors to try and resolve the issue because we were billing them for 2 bedrooms. This is a similar situation, but this is the first time they brought it to our attention. So they've been assessed as a 1-bedroom for years, but we've been charging them as a 2-bedroom. So in light of that, I would prefer to just issue a credit to their account rather than doing a whole resolution and asking for a refund on it. I just want to make sure that you guys just want to make you aware of it. And let you know, I'm just going back to the beginning of 2021 because this is the first time they've ever brought it to our attention. I know the former the owner for the other unit, he had said that he'd been talking to the directors for a while, and he even mentioned who they were and when he was in. So this is the first time we're hearing about this unit, so I think it's best to just do a credit for this year based on their overcharge.
Does anybody have any issues with that?
No, Danelle's the CFO, and that's her recommendation. I'm going with it.
Same here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, discussion on water infrastructure. So, there was a letter sent around to everybody. I don't know if anybody got a chance to view it, and it's related to the paving of Route 515. So the town council, business administrator wrote to the engineer with our concerns about when they're going to do the paving down Route 515, and apparently they didn't want to delay it till 2022 to allow us to work on our water infrastructure project. They're going to go ahead and do the paving in the fall of this year, which absolutely makes no sense. That you're going to pave something, and then we're going to put pipes in the ground, and then we're going to take it all up and repave it. So that letter was sent to the county engineer. That's what the letter I want everyone to read, so they understand what it's all about. I asked James reached out to the county engineer because about this, and part of that letter was saying there's a 3-year moratorium on after you do the paving job, whether you're allowed to dig up and the paving, you get to wait 3 years. They said this is verbally, they said that they're gonna allow us to continue or do that project we needed to. I wasn't particularly comfortable with the fact that I'd like to get that in writing, because we're gonna have to get permits from the county in order to dig up the 515. And I'd like somebody to pursue something in writing from the county, just to make sure that we got it covered, that we're allowed to continue with the water infrastructure project, especially if you start putting engineering dollars into the whole project, and then we can't put the pipes in the ground because of this moratorium.
Yeah, and Mike,
So,
one of the things that I saw in that letter was, the verbal is one thing, and I agree we should get it in writing, but there was also, I believe it was mentioned as a possible option that they hold off on doing the areas where we would be digging and just do it once we're done too. I mean, that to me probably makes the most sense if they could, hold back on doing areas that we need to get into and then
Right.
just do it once we're done.
I agree, Paul. That's exactly what I was saying. The section we're talking about where the pipes going in the ground is from the Daily Bean all the way down to Vernon Inn, and that's not a large area. They could just hold off on that part of it and then do the paving in the spring of 2022 and coordinate it better with us. I think we need to try to reach out to them and try to coordinate the project, because I did see them out there this week, looking at a storm drain, because there's a right in front of the I don't know what it's right there on 515 by the gas station. There's a storm drain that they needs a significant amount of work, and they have to fix that to repair before they even do the paving job. And I think we need to try to reach out to them and try to coordinate better on this infrastructure project. So everything's coordinated where everything makes sense, where you're not wasting taxpayers' money by just paving and repaving. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I agree with you, Paul. Like that would be the ask, is to say, can you hold off on doing that part of it? You could do all the rest of 515 and work on that, but hold off and make that a project in the spring of 2022. That'll give us enough time to get all the permits together, all the paperwork, do bid specs on the piping, So I want to, keep everybody updated. So James was working on that. He's trying to work with the county to get some answers to those questions, and we have to move ahead. Anybody have any questions about that?
No.
I mean, does everybody agree? I want to get everybody's feeling on the project, and we all know it's the importance of putting water into town center. It's helping the MUA to get more. If we put more water in, we get more sewer users. We increase our flow, and now that we have the funding to do it, we need to closely coordinate this and plan it right. And there's a lot to go with this. We may have to get a DEP permit, which I have asked James to look into, whether we need a DEP main extension permit, which I don't believe we do need one, but he's going to look into that. We're going to obviously have to have a road opening permit for the county because it's a county road. So we're going to have to get approval from them to open up the road and do the project.
Mike, PowerPoint presentation from 2008 that was outlining the whole town center, infrastructure, everything from sidewalks. What I'll do is I will forward that to Jackie or Danelle, and you can forward it to all the commissioners and they can review it, because it outlines all the steps they had to take to put the sewers or the water pipes in the ground, and then we can use that as a guideline. And it also outlines costs. What's really interesting, this presentation in 2008, and I know things with inflation, back then it was only $1.5 million to do the whole water for the town center.
Yeah, well, I can tell you now, Harry, this is bad news, but the cost of pipe is tripled.
Yeah,
because of the pandemic, and the lead time to get water pipe is way out there. Like we're talking months.
Yeah, it could be up to 6 months.
It could be up to 3 to 6 months just to order the pipe and then get it. So
you probably have to need that much time just to get the permits and all the engineering in, if not longer.
Right. So meaning the permit, to get the permits, to do the planning, to do the bid specs, and then get it out the door, like all that has to be done almost concurrently. Because normally you go get the permits and then start the project. But like here, in order to meet, tight time frames, you're going to have to do it all concurrently. Like the planning of these projects is completely different than what you've done in the past. So you got to throw all that out, and it's a different ball game now with all the shortages. Oh, it's extremely difficult. The projects are getting held up because of this, and the piping is extremely expensive. I anticipate the pricing to come down probably by the spring of 2022, but it's like, I think we need to have the county try to work with us here, and like, I mean, I can't see how they can't delay the project a little bit to accommodate our needs. And so, and I'm not into a verbal agreement. I'm like a verbal agreement that if they're okay with that, because that's not acceptable.
It's not in writing. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's like, no way I'm going to trust that they're going to say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and we promise we're going to work with you. That's just not acceptable. So, I think, Danelle, and I know James is working on this, we could take the lead as, the engineers to get this done, but I don't know how to force their hand to get them to agree to this. And I don't know, maybe, Rich, what do you think as an attorney? Like, what can we do? Like what's our recourse on this moratorium and the planning? Like, how can we somehow get them to work with us? I mean, do you have any ideas?
No.
I know you have anything in your hat that you're gonna pull out of your hat.
I mean, in the spiritual realm, maybe, that's what it's going to take is divine intervention, I think, unfortunately, not to be cute, but I mean, it's just you know, you don't penetrate those levels of bureaucracy with anything very, you know, very easily, you know, and as you know, I think as probably most of the board knows from, if not actual direct conversations, you know, the updates you were given from those who had those conversations, they don't really care who's talking to them. And it's very difficult to get any kind of movement, to get any kind of urgency through. So the best way to do it is what what the board has been doing, and that's engaging all politicians across the spectrum. You know, I know Commissioner Shortway has talked about Gottheimer being involved, and I know Oroho on the state level has had contact with the state, and you know that's what we need to do is really keep pushing on that. And the more parties you get involved, the better your chances. But it's difficult, you know. And you add the natural stagnation that exists in bureaucracy. You add to that COVID, when now there's an excuse not to do anything. It just multiplies everything.
Perhaps the commissioners could pass a resolution. And the two of them are running up for re-election, and Vernon is the largest
Absolutely
municipality in the whole county. And maybe they will immediately cooperate. I mean, I think we have with some of the commissioners, a very good relationship, at least in the past we have. But
So
you're
what
right,
do you think?
bureaucracy, probably need a resolution from them.
So what do you think, Harry? You should reach out to Steve Oroho and say, is there something that you could help us with?
I think the
Because
first person to go up the proper chain of command is reach out to Ms. Fantasia. She's the director of the commissioners, the county commissioners.
and who would be the right person to do that? You, or is it Howard, or?
I think it's probably should come from the mayor, since he's the executive of the whole municipality. He's our top gun.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah, Danelle, could you talk to Howard about that? Because, you know, we have this funding. We're in a difficult situation, and I know you said, well, they should be understanding because, you know, we just got this money, and but, you know, I agree with Rich. It's going to get caught up in bureaucracy, and then, you know, we lose the opportunity because they don't want to cooperate. That's not going to help us. It's not going to help the township.
And really, it wouldn't delay any their other paving projects, because most of their budgets don't get passed, right, approved till June, July, and all the municipalities start paving in August and September, and you get backed up. That they have the funds available, and it's in their budget already. They could go into next spring when the other projects are starting up, but they don't have funding for the additional projects. I know they have to clean the roads, and I don't know if it's an independent contractor who they have doing the paving, or they're doing it themselves. It's probably one of the big paving contractors anyway doing it. So I don't see, unless they have a contract with them, they have to do it by such and such a date. But that would be something, I think, for the administration to reach out with the commissioner and engage them in conversation first. And maybe we're anticipating a major problem, although Rich, I agree 100% about bureaucracy and government. Nothing moves slower than government, unfortunately. That might be the way to open a dialogue with them, just have a conversation.
Right. Yeah, I say go down that path, because you know where this is a quandary, Harry, because you're saying if we don't get that answer from the county on paving, like, why should we expend any money in engineering or plan this at all if we don't have, you know, a clear path forward? I mean, we're asking, you know, the engineer to expend time and energy to do all this work, and then, you know, we might not be able to do the project anyway.
It might come to even the council may, and again, we'd have to look at this legally. I mean, we passed resolutions of support or going against, something like we did with the station, right? The natural gas station, the compressor up in Wantage. Maybe the council will have to pass a resolution for the publicity part of it to support the MUA in their projects. I mean, we have to approve the contract, but you know what I'm saying? If we have to go that political step, maybe the council would engage in an activity like that and bring it to the forefront. You do it publicly, but maybe we don't need to do that. I'm going to be really optimistic for a change, and maybe we can just have the conversation. And I think it's logical that they agree with us and they help
Yeah.
us. I mean, we don't want to be wasting the county side of tax dollars either. I mean, we're paying twice, right? We're paying twice. We got municipal tax dollars, and then we have county tax dollars. Why would they want to waste the county tax dollars also?
Right. And that's exactly what the point I was trying to make. It would be a tremendous waste of taxpayers' money if you pave it once and then come back and then dig it all up and put water pipes in and then have to pave it again. Because, that's what Chuck was saying. Well, we don't care. You can go back up there and dig it up again and repave it again. But like, really, you're going to pave it twice? Yeah, just because you couldn't coordinate the job. I mean, they could delay these paving jobs and go to different parts of the county and get jobs done and just delay them to a different date. I just, just to say, no, we're not going to do it. It's not acceptable. So we'll go down that path.
Pipe and how much roadway, you would be putting a substantial amount on the municipal taxpayer to repave that road. It'd be total waste of money, total waste of money.
Yeah. I don't know what the estimates are, but it is a lot of money because you're like taking that money that you could be using that money to do better things and then just repaving something is ridiculous. So we'll go down that path, I guess, to see where we're at, and then we'll just continue, working on what we're working on. Hey, Danelle.
Yes.
Has Dewberry started to work on, and this is going back to the pump station too? Have they started to work on any kind of bid specifications for pump station too?
I think that they're working more on the stuff for iBank, which, I mean, they have to include bid specs to go to iBank, and because they have to review it and approve it before we go out for bid. So it's all being done at the same time that we're doing the environmental planning document as well.
Well, this would be the same case for the water infrastructure. They're gonna have to do a bid document to go out to bid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the process. It's going to be a big enough job where you have to go out to bid. So we got to get some answers to questions first about before we start really getting, spending money on engineering costs. And let's wait till we get answers on this paving job. That needs to be resolved. So Danelle, if you can kind of look into that and get back to us, that would be great. Any other questions about the water infrastructure? And I know I know there was maps put together by Dewberry, laying out exactly where the water pipes will be going. That those maps are available. I encourage everybody to review those maps and any kind of documents related to that. So you got to have a good understanding of what we're talking about. All right.
Yep.
All right, we'll go to number 11. We'll open up the meeting to the public. Entertain a motion to open to the public for items not on the agenda.
I'll make a motion open to the public.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Is anybody out? There it is.
No, there's no, I think you're muted, Jacqueline, but there's nobody there.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Now I can.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, nobody from the public is on.
Okay, entertain a motion to close to the public.
I'll make the motion to close to the public.
I'll second.
Motion by Paul Carney, second by Harry Shortway. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, commissioners' comments. We'll go, Mr. Harry Shortway, we'll go to you first.
I think I've said enough tonight. No further comments, but thank you.
No problem. Paul Carney?
No, I think a lot of things were covered tonight. There's nothing pressing that I need to speak about this evening.
Good. Scott?
Yeah, I would agree the same. A lot of good discussion tonight. It's a little disappointing on how long things could take and some roadblocks that are in the way, but I guess we got to try to work around those.
And thanks, Scott. Dave McDermott?
We covered most of everything. I was, like you said, I would go on a handshake with anybody.
No,
And absolutely not. We got to have something in writing, and we got to make sure that the person who signs it has the authority to do so, meaning from their side. So we don't end up getting backed up. We spend money, and the agreement falls apart somehow.
right.
But other than that, we got a lot done.
All right, thank you. Chair's comments? I have nothing else further to add. I guess we have to make a motion to go into executive session.
So I'll
Yes.
make a motion to go into executive session.
For the purposes of,
Yes, okay.
ahead,
Sorry, I was
Danelle.
gonna say
No, go ahead.
for the purpose of contract negotiations.
Purposes of contracting. Thank you, Rich Wenner.
Hey, happy to help.
He's always keeping us legal.
Point of order, since we're going to be discussing this, this issue, would we go back into regular session then for a vote?
Yes.
Yes.
If that's what the board
Okay.
wants to do, yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
so action may be taken upon resumption of open session.
Okay.
Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome, Paul. And good night. My work here is done.
My work is a motion by Paul Carney. Was there a second?
I'll second it.
Or Dave?
Second by Dave McDermott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, we'll go on to the other link
Okay.
and we'll see you over there.
Good.
That Mike? I think so.
It looks like we got somebody in the,
Is that Mike? Because I have Mike on here. I'm just checking. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah, I
the,
think that's, I think.
oh,
the
yeah, Mike's
number.
doing video and phone separately, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Mike.
Okay.
Can you just allow him to talk?
I
maybe?
did, and now it says it's muted. I'm trying to unmute it, but it won't allow me to unmute it. Now he's gone. Oh, here he is on the other side. Okay.
Jackie, can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
I'm an AV genius.
Clearly.
Literally, I'm an AV genius. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. Motion to reconvene.
Make the motion, reconvene.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Dave McDermott, seconded by Harry Shortway. All in favor?
Aye.
Danelle, what's the resolution number? I don't have it.
2146.
Okay. Do you ever make a motion to approve 21-46?
I'll make a motion to approve 2146.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Dave McDermott, seconded by Harry Shortway. Roll call?
Mike Fury,
Yes.
Paul Kearney,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Harry Shortway,
Yes.
Scott Galway.
Yes.
Well, there you have it, people.
Motion passed.
Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Harry Shortway, seconded by Dave McDermott. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, aye. Have a pleasant evening, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Be
Also,
safe.
Thank you,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Have a great
Holiday
night.
weekend.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.